This episode of WISBusiness.com, the show, is brought to you by Grant Thornton, White Hirschbeck Dudek, Madison Gas and Electric, and the University of Wisconsin at Milwaukee.
Hi, I'm Liz Schrum for the Wisconsin Technology Council, here with WISBusiness.com, the show. On today's show, Tom Still defines venture capital, what it really is versus what some politicians say it is, and Lisa Johnson of the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation on the role of startups in the Wisconsin economy. First, here's the WISBusiness.com stock report for mid-January. Rising Asian trade. Officials with the State Department of Ag and Trade recently completed Wisconsin's first trade visit to Vietnam. Trade between Wisconsin and Vietnam doubled between 2009 and 2010, with the state ranking 15th among the 50 states in exports to Vietnam. Meanwhile, ZBB Energy of Menominee Falls announced its joint venture in China has won contracts to provide energy management services to a number of customers, including the Chinese government. Next up, a state mission to India. And falling, Wausau Paper. Starboard Value, Wausau Paper Corporation's largest shareholder, has essentially demanded that the company break itself into pieces or be sold outright. In a letter filed with the federal regulators and sent to the papermaker's board of directors, the New York-based hedge fund wrote that Wausau Paper remains undervalued on Wall Street and that a sale could allow investors to make more money. That's the WISBusiness.com stock report. Go to WISBusiness.com for more on these and other stories. Tom Still is next with his Inside Wisconsin commentary.
When someone you count on anticipates your needs, your job becomes a whole lot easier. Grant Thornton clients get advice and recommendations from partners in the U.S. and through member firms worldwide. Grant Thornton.
The Republican presidential race of late has sounded like an offshoot of the Occupy Wall Street movement, with challengers to frontrunner Mitt Romney blasting him for being a vulture capitalist and a corporate looter. It all goes back to Romney's days as the top executive at Bain Capital, a private equity firm in Boston. The curious, almost anti-capitalist attacks offer a chance to learn more about the term venture capital and what it really means. And that may be helpful in Wisconsin, where the legislature will soon debate plans for a state leverage fund to promote early-stage investment in Wisconsin-based companies. What is often described generically as venture capital is really a mix of private investments that take place at different stages of a company's existence. The youngest companies are usually funded by founders, family, and friends who cobble together enough cash to get the idea rolling. Those investments are sometimes followed by individual angel investors or organized angel networks or funds. The term angel investor may sound benevolent, but these folks want a return on their capital as much as anyone else. Angels are often former entrepreneurs themselves, and they usually roll up their sleeves and help mentor company executives where they invest. Angel investments are sometimes followed by venture capital investments, which are much larger rounds of capital. Venture capital funds provide larger infusions of working capital needed to help companies grow and create jobs. Like angels, venture capitalists also provide mentoring, advice, and structure that can help emerging companies soar. Angel, venture, and other early-stage and growth capital all fall under the heading of private equity, which comes from private investors willing to take a risk in return for a share of the company's equity over time. Companies are usually growing and adding jobs throughout those stages. In fact, independent studies have shown that all net new jobs in the United States are created by companies 5 years old or younger. But private equity also describes rounds from larger institutional investors, such as leveraged buyout funds. Buyout funds have sometimes worn the vulture capitalist label, correctly or otherwise, but should not be confused with venture capital funds. Romney's Bain Capital invested across the full private equity spectrum during his time there, often helping small companies grow, but sometimes downsizing larger firms and buyouts. In a sense, the political rhetoric is blurring an important distinction between Wall Street and Main Street. Buyout funds that sometimes eliminate jobs are a far cry from the angel, early stage, and venture groups that work with young companies close to home. Venture capital has been a driving force behind millions of jobs in the United States and tens of thousands in Wisconsin. Candidates and policymakers should be careful to distinguish between investments that create jobs and those that sometimes destroy them.
Thanks, Tom. I'll be right back with Lisa Johnson of the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation.
White Hirschbeck Dudek represents companies at all stages of development and in a wide range of industries to navigate the legal challenges of regional, national, and global growth. At WHD, every stage takes center stage.
I'm back with Lisa Johnson, Vice President for the Division of Entrepreneurship and Innovation at the WEDC. Thanks for joining us, Lisa.
Thanks for having me.
What are the skills and experiences that you bring to your new role at WEDC?
I think the experiences that I bring is one from private industry. I was in the biosciences industry for 22 years. In that industry, what I did is I was involved in 2 startups. I was involved in raising investment capital, whether it was through debt structure, raising equity. I know what entrepreneurs go through, from building a company, having no cash, not getting paid, and also really developing products and how to commercialize those, how a company gets sold, what you have to go through due diligence. So I think it's that background of not just a government experience, but really private industry experience, so that I can, in my division, which is entrepreneurship and innovation, I can really take that background, those experiences, and insert those into programs that we should have implement throughout the state to really drive entrepreneurship and also innovation throughout the state of Wisconsin.
And how do entrepreneurs contribute to the creation of jobs and wealth in Wisconsin?
Well, it's critical that we have entrepreneurs in this state, and that's what my division is trying to implement. Where can we get the programs that will, again, stimulate small businesses, entrepreneurs, because although it's not short-term job growth, it's not the 100 jobs when an entrepreneur starts a business, but it's that long-term. Just like Silicon Valley didn't start with having hundreds and hundreds of jobs, it was entrepreneurs, and then that's that long stage of them growing the businesses, turning those businesses over. So again, as they grow the business, they sell it. They're probably going to start another business. Maybe they're going to have a spin-off from their company. The investors that invested in those small businesses or entrepreneurs now have created wealth. They're putting that back into our state, into new businesses. So it really is critical to drive entrepreneurship as well as innovation, the technology industry, for our long-term, really business growth in the state of Wisconsin.
What is the importance of early stage capital in driving the innovation economy?
Yeah, early stage capital is actually, it's critical. We call it investment capital, we call it growth capital. It's really, and especially the technology business, if to drive technology, it takes money. Whether you're in biosciences, information technology, clean tech, healthcare, advanced manufacturing, these are all critical industries in the state of Wisconsin. It takes capital to get those companies off the ground. So it is critical, once again, that we have investment capital going into our seed and early stage financing of those companies.
Thanks, Lisa. And thank you for watching this edition of WisBusiness.com, The Show. The show is produced by WisBusiness.com and the Wisconsin Technology Council, and sponsored by Grant Thornton, White Hirschbeck Dudek, MG&E, and UW-Milwaukee. Visit our websites to read and learn more. I'm Liz Schrum of Talent But Executive Search. See you next time.